But yeah, so this is the discussion for The Gardens Between. Initial release date September 19th, 2018. Developed and published by the Voxel Agents. Costs $20 or your regional equivalent. Platforms: Nintendo Switch, Microsoft Windows, Linux, Macintosh, Xbox One, PlayStation 4. And we're coming to you on this lovely St. Patrick's Day 2019. So we can date this podcast super hard. The Gardens Between is a surreal puzzle adventure game that follows best friends Arena and Friendant as they fall into a mysterious world of beautiful garden islands, manipulate time to solve puzzles, and discover the secrets of each island. You know, I think I preferred it when I didn't know the names of the kids.
Friended? Was that real?
I didn't even know the other guy's
It's
name.
spelled F-R-E-N-D-T.
What?
Why?
Yeah.
All right.
I think it was better when I didn't know he had a name.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is Garden. Well, we can go around and introduce ourselves, give our hot takes on the game, and then we can kind of give a brief rundown of it and say what we think about it.
All right.
I'm Zach. I liked this game. I had a good time with it. I thought it was mechanically, I thought it was pretty unique. I liked kind of the gameplay the fact that you didn't really have direct control over either of the characters. I thought the puzzles were fine. Got a little bit challenging towards the end of the game, a little bit. It's a bit of a short game, so I'm not exactly sure it was worth $20, but we can go into that more. I personally had a really good time with it, and if you are looking for a couple hours of a quality game content, if you like puzzle games, this is a good buy. All right, next.
I'll go. I'm Nick, and I also really like the game. I thought it was a really cute game. And then, I guess, to me, the only somewhat issue I had was just the length of the game. But then, whenever I like a game, and it's, like, really short, then I just compare it to, like, movie ticket prices or something. Like, if I were to spend movie to go sit and watch a movie for 2 hours or something. I kind of, like, base off my purchases through that, so I think it was kind of worth it, I'd say.
I'm Mitch. I played the game with Carly and Noah. All of us sat down today and played it together. So none of us paid for it because we played it through the Xbox Game Pass. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. It had really good art. The game mechanics are really interesting, like messing with time and like the other stuff. We beat it really quickly, but I think we also beat it way faster because all three of us played together. Because we beat it in like we beat it and got every achievement in less than 3 hours. Like 2.5.
Yeah, something like that.
It was fun. I enjoyed it. I think I would have enjoyed it more had I played it by myself. Just not that when we played together it wasn't good, but I think it would have lasted a little bit longer, and then solving all the puzzles myself I think would have made it a little bit more fun too. But I also enjoyed doing it with both of you guys.
I'm Noah, so I played with Mitch and Carly, and I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, and especially like doing it through Game Pass. It was definitely like not having to buy it is definitely worth playing for sure. I think my biggest thing is like I would have liked I think a few more difficult puzzles to figure out. I felt a lot of them weren't too hard to figure out.
We only
I think that would have made it a bit longer. Yeah, there's only one that really took us a while. Yeah, overall I thought it was good.
All right.
I'm Carly. I thought it was kind of boring, I guess.
Of course you, of all people, think it's boring. The one who wanted this game.
I know. I don't know. I thought it would be more challenging and more difficult to complete, I guess. Like I liked all the art and stuff, and so I was a bit disappointed. But it was worth it if you have the Game Pass where you're already paying for other things.
All right.
That's my thoughts.
All right. A brief bit of this game. I'm gonna have a little bit of gameplay footage. I'm definitely not gonna try to put too much because I think that can absolutely spoil the game for you.
Yeah, especially
Like spoiling the puzzles, because the puzzles in this game are they're the main draw. If you know how to do all the puzzles, then you might as well just watch like a let's play. So basically, you play as these two characters, and the real one game mechanic is you're able to interact with things and you're able to move to the right. And moving to the right moves time forward. It makes these two characters walk through these different environments, and you can move time forward and backwards. And you kind of have to use that to solve these puzzles. The puzzles involve items that aren't affected by time. Some objects are, some aren't. And you kind of have to work through these different mechanics. So what do we want to talk about first? There's some story stuff.
We should talk about the art first, because that's easy.
Oh yeah. The artwork is great. Wow, my voice is fucking dying on me. But I really liked the artwork, and along with the artwork, I really liked the soundtrack. I think the soundtrack reminded me a lot of the soundtrack for Inner Space, and the soundtrack was the one thing that I liked about that game.
Right.
I agree. The music was good.
Yeah, when I heard like some of the sound effects, and I'm like, I swear I just heard this in Inner Space. So I like looked up the company quick and saw that they weren't made by the same people. But I totally thought so, especially with the simplistic art that they went with, which I thought was nice and clean.
Yeah, super good, like cell shaded, very cartoony. Yeah.
The color palette was really nice.
Yeah, definitely.
I really liked a lot of their levels too. A lot of the levels had really good like design. And they like looked really well put together.
I like all like the themes and stuff of each island.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was interesting to see how they all came back together at the end of the game to tie into like the real world environment. But
Yeah, I
overall,
thought it
it
was-
was very pretty.
I thought it was great that they took just inspiration from like, I feel like this is easily a childhood of creators themselves, like all put together, and they're just like, let's make a puzzle based off of these experiences, but more as a background type of thing.
Yeah, it was almost like it's like a childhood imagination run wild, like taking everyday events, but then like expanding them into this imaginary plane.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of this is like not exactly nostalgia bait, but kind of like when I remember watching an episode of Ed, Edd and Eddy a while ago, and it was the one where they're down in the junkyard, just like playing out like a scene from a movie where it's like they're shooting aliens or whatever. And I don't know, that just made me really nostalgic for like when I was a kid and you could turn anything into a good time and just fuck around with your friends. And I don't know, I thought that was a very nice aspect of the game. It was very calming and very enjoyable.
Another thing I really liked about the visuals was in the last level, I really liked the lightning. I thought that was really cool. Especially seeing it in like slow-mo as it would like spread out and like attach to different things.
Yeah, speaking of that, just that mechanic, when you have to go left to right, controlling the time, and like the stuff in the background environment is moving along with it, and you have to use some of those sometimes as part of the puzzle. That was really cool.
One of my favorite puzzles in the game was where you had to like dial the radio, and based on like what station it's a bit of a spoiler, but you basically have to turn it to different stations to get different things to happen. And I don't know, I just really liked that, mostly because of the music was catchy. I liked that.
Yeah, I liked the music that was playing during those segments, and it was an interesting puzzle.
Yeah, a big comparison I could make to this game is if you've ever heard of Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got a lot of brother.
I've been wanting
Yeah.
to play that game.
Yeah, I've never played that
'cause
game.
It's a puzzle game. You play as two characters. You use, if you're playing like on a gamepad, you use each stick to control a different character, and both of them like have different things that they can do. it's kind of similar to this game. You got one character who carries the lantern, the other character who like interacts with all the other stuff.
The bells.
And also, Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons is like dirt cheap, and when it's on sale, it will be like $3. So I'd absolutely recommend playing that
It's
to
really good.
everybody.
I should definitely. I think I already own it. I think you gifted it to me a while ago.
Yeah, I find every excuse to gift it to people, because I think it's a great game, and it's also
It's a really
very
good game.
there's a lot more gameplay to it than this game, I think.
Speaking of you saying like you get to control with each character with each toggle stick, how'd you guys feel about not exactly controlling these characters?
At first, it was annoying to me, but then after like I realized that that's like the mechanic of the game is more about controlling time. I really liked it.
Yeah. At first it was frustrating to me because I'm like, go faster, just like, I want quick like turn back and forth really fast.
Or you're just like, don't go down that pathway. Don't stop
Yeah.
it. Or,
Yeah, it was more like the puzzle was trying to figure out what the characters were gonna do, and then using that to your advantage in time controlling, instead of like the opposite of you actually controlling the characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
yeah, it's interesting because you're not actually playing as the two
No.
characters. You're playing as like
You're playing as
omniscient, yeah, which is definitely a more interesting way of framing a game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they definitely got to expand their puzzles because they forced one of the two characters down a certain path that only they can interact with stuff down there to like maybe unlock another path later.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'd say really helped with some of their puzzles since they don't have a whole lot of different mechanics.
Yeah, the entire point of the of each one of the levels is you gotta light the lantern on these like little yellow balls that are kind of
Tools.
around the level, and you have to get it to the end. And there are like pathways that have to be powered, and these things that'll like steal the light from your lantern, like fucking Dumbledore. And I mean, I don't think any of the puzzles in this game were like ridiculously complicated, or it was kind of the feeling I got from Rhyme, where I just wanted more of the game. Like
Yeah,
I would
I feel
agree
like you
with
could do so much with these mechanics.
I think your comparison to Rhyme is really good because I really liked Rhyme, but I had the exact same complaint. It just felt too easy and not enough, and that's what this game felt like.
And I say that about Rhyme because I really like Rhyme and I'd like to play more of it, but yeah, like I said during that discussion, I just felt like there wasn't enough to it. Like one of the most interesting aspects of that game, like changing the time of day, you really only use it twice, and it's just to like open two doors. I wish that, I don't know, I feel like you can do, I want it, if I was an instructor talking to the game developers, it'd be like, you need to take what you got, it's really good, and just push it even further. I'd be that instructor who's not like super specific, but it's just like, I want more.
Yeah, honestly, I was a little disappointed in how easy these puzzles were. In
Yeah,
each
they were-
one, I pretty much like blazed past them. Even
Especially the
ones that-
first half. Well, like, the first half isn't hard at all.
Yeah, the first
Yeah.
couple of zones are
You just basically walk through the whole thing.
Yeah, you walk through them, you interact with the right stuff. It's more just to teach you the mechanics. Like that's what a lot of the stuff feels like. And then later in the game, they kind of explore now they're like puzzle aspects, and you have to like walk around and finish these things.
Yeah, I just feel like it was too much tutorial. Like it felt like half the game was tutorial, and then you're like, oh, it's finally getting interesting. There's finally some puzzles, and then it was over.
Yep.
Like I just started replaying Talos Principle yesterday, which is like
Oh.
probably one of the harder puzzle games I've ever played. So like comparing it to that, it was way easier.
I was gonna say, like as I was playing this game, I was like, you know what? Maybe I should go and start The Witness.
The Witness is so good. I never finished it though.
Yeah.
I haven't played it.
Talos Principle all the way.
Talos Principle is so good.
It's the best story I've ever seen in a puzzle game.
Mm-hmm.
Add it to my wish list on Steam.
I think it's definitely a game we should play for our game discussion. But anyways, this game, I wish that they kind of added more mechanics to this game. Like, what do they all have? Pretty much the orb thing. That's the whole point of each map, is getting it across the way. Then the dark orbs that suck up that light. And then rewinding time.
And then there
There
was
were a
the
couple other
bells.
things you like to interact with.
Yeah, the bells that also are just
There's
like...
bells that activated flowers, and then there was bells that you could individually control certain parts of time.
Yeah.
And I mean, they also had a lot of other ones like
They had
the radio and the
map-specific
water
stuff.
pipe, and there were a lot of environmental pieces that you have to interact with that I think added a lot.
Yeah. I felt like, I don't know, just at least one more core thing that's relevant across all the maps to just make it a little bit puzzlier and harder.
Yeah.
That's what I thought, but I don't know.
Something that I did write down that I think is important to bring up is while I might not completely think that it's $20 worth of content, I definitely do think in the kind of age of video games we're in right now, where you've got a lot of what I would consider kind of low effort, repetitive, kind of schlocky games that are kind of all just becoming more similar to each other. I think this game is definitely a breath of fresh air that has some kind of unique mechanics. So I definitely think that is to the game's credit.
Yeah, it was definitely very unique.
Mm-hmm.
It feels more like a curated experience kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not even 100% sure if this statement is true, but I was going to say I had more fun in the 2 hours I played this game than I have had in my entire time playing Fallout 76.
Oh, man. Do you guys want to talk a little bit about the story?
Before we get to the story,
Okay.
I just wanted to ask, did any of you get to a point that you thought was like a dead end? Like you couldn't go back any further, but you couldn't finish it? And you had to start the level over?
Oh, no.
Never happened.
I never got to that point.
Mitch and I had that. There's that one Mitch.
Oh, we had one level we got stuck on for a while. We could not figure out what the fuck we were doing.
The level I got stuck on was the one with there's like a calculator or something, and
Oh, you punch the code in,
yeah, punching the code in and all that.
and then you print the page out.
Yeah, I got stuck on that map a little bit. Like I did everything correctly up until that last bit, and I just like needed a light and then complete the level, and I had no idea what to do. And for the longest time, I like didn't notice the little boy messing with the knob on the sound thing to like make it the right frequency to break the glass so I could get it. I kept messing with the screen with the different buttons on it and kept on like thinking I had to do something with the copier, whatever.
That is definitely one downside I noticed in this game's puzzle system, is that there are plenty of parts where you have to be like on the exact correct spot, and you have to hold it. And if you're not paying like super close attention, you'll just have no idea what to do. Like, I was stuck for a little bit on the part with again, it's a little bit of spoiler talk. If you plan on playing this game,
Just
probably
stop
stop listening. It's a 2-hour experience, so essentially anything we say is going to like spoil the game for you. So do your due diligence and stop listening to this podcast. But the part that I did get stuck on was the part with the lightning, because I didn't know you had to hold it like on the exact right time it hit, and then you had to wait for it to like bounce over.
You had to wait quite a while.
Yeah. We got stuck a little bit on that. We found it out pretty quickly. The thing we got stuck on most was moving the beach ball. we could not figure out moving the beach ball.
Oh yeah, I had a problem with that.
We were like back and forth, constantly trying to do things, and we're like, what the fuck are we missing?
I was lucky and I was going a little slow on those parts, so I like saw the hose ballooning up before. But yeah, I'd say those puzzles caught me more than any other puzzles. Like the one where you just have to match the time just correctly in the environment, rather than moving the lights and blocking the shadow or the purple shadow mist or whatever. Yeah, I just found those more difficult.
The one we got stuck on the most for me and Noah was the big pipe in the center, like that's pointed up, and then you have
And
to
there's
like
like a lot of the shadow mist. And like the chick would take like 2 different paths depending on whether you had a light or not.
Yeah.
we like could not figure out what the
That
fuck
one
we were
took me.
doing.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
You have to stop her in like midair to continue it going.
I don't think
Is that
so.
the one?
That one's like a juggling match because you have to like go across the stage, interact with something, put the lantern on it, go back to the start of the stage, and like get the person to take a different route so that you can actually get rid of the light so you can cross this one spot. That one definitely probably took me the longest out of all of them.
I'm not sure which one you're talking about.
It was
About the same one.
the one with the pipe that you guys were talking about.
Okay, yeah, that one was
The
definitely
one with the 2 different paths where you have to get her to take a certain path so that when you go backwards, you can.
Wait, isn't that the radio one
No,
with the?
No, it's not the radio one.
Oh,
I need like a list of the levels, and even then, yeah, it's whatever. Did anybody have anything else, or do we want to talk about story?
there's not really much to talk about.
Yeah, there isn't.
not much story.
Well,
It's like,
story.
oh, the spoiler at the end of the game. This is what it was leading up to.
But even mechanics and everything else is not much to talk about either.
Yeah.
No.
I'd
No.
say price-wise, how many puzzles were there? 20? I think there's 20. Because the
Something
very
like that.
end was like just walking right for a little bit. So yeah, it's about like $1 a puzzle, which isn't terrible.
I got
Yeah.
nothing else until we talk about narrative.
Yeah. So
Just not a
So
whole
then-
lot of narrative to talk
Narrative.
about, but yeah.
So yeah, if you've watched up to this point and you don't care about spoilers, good for you. We're gonna talk about spoilers. So yeah, essentially what you're doing is like, I guess it's kind of up to interpretation, but my interpretation was like, oh, these are just them like talking and reliving all these memories, and then oh, your memories get put up into the stars or something. It's kind of the same sort of thing as Unravel. It's like, oh, you're going through all these different things and remembering these memories. And anybody else have any ideas?
I didn't really think of it that way, but I like your opinion on what that is. I thought of it slightly differently before. I don't know, I just kind of thought it was like childhood imagination, but it's a guess what it is. But your description is just better. But then the whole thing was that they were going through this because their friend was moving away. The one that
Yep.
was named Friend.
Friend. Yeah.
What's
This
the one name from? There was a box with the other person's name on there, wasn't it?
It's like Ariana or
Ari-
Ariane or something like that.
Yeah.
Arena.
I thought there was a box, Arena, yeah. A box with her name on it. Or Arena's name on it. So I don't know which one is which.
Yeah, I don't know.
Arena's the girl.
But yeah, the big thing at the end is that one of them is moving away and they're not going to be able to hang out in their clubhouse and be friends anymore. Or, I mean, that's the weird thing. So, 2 things. One, this game made me realize that I am very susceptible to emotional manipulation. And I kind of already knew that, but like, it's like every Disney movie, it's like, okay, I'm going in and I'm going to be emotionally manipulated. Second thing, I've already forgot.
You got
Shit.
this.
Okay, emotional manipulation, and I don't know. Yeah, the ending kind of hit me on a personal level, and because I moved from my childhood town when I was 5, and I was like, oh shit, I remember how much that sucked. And the thing that I actually was going to say is that it's very different nowadays because everybody's got fucking Facebook and all these apps. So if you move away, you can just stay in contact with them.
Especially if you play video games and have conversations like these.
Yeah. So if you are having trouble like keeping in touch, just start a podcast. But yeah, did anybody have anything else?
Didn't hit me as hard because I didn't really have that situation. I definitely had one friend move out, but we already lived a lot farther away, so I never really actually got to see him fully pack up and leave. And we weren't so close together that I saw him every single day. But other than that, I never like really had friends who left or myself who left. But
funny for me, I had that exact experience when I was in 5th grade. I moved away from all my friends to a new place, but I didn't even think of that until you mentioned that you had your own experience like that. So it didn't connect with me at all, even though I had that experience.
I mean, I don't remember it extremely well, but my parents do say that I was really upset.
Oh, I'm sure. I remember being really upset when I moved. I was pissed at my parents for a long time.
Yeah. But other than that, are we good to move into like final recommendations?
Yeah, if I think of anything else, I'll just say it as I go. I don't know.
So what do you guys think? Would you recommend this game to other people?
Yes,
I don't know. Pay $20 for it.
Yeah,
but
I don't think I would spend $20 on it either. But like, we played it for free because we played it through the Xbox Game Pass. Through Xbox Game Pass, 100% worth playing.
I'd say if it was on sale, like if it was like $10 or something, I'd say it's probably worth doing it. But yeah, I don't know about 20.
Yeah, I paid $20 myself for the Switch version, and I'm happy with it. But I don't think I would recommend another person paying $20 for it.
Yeah, I think if you're comfortable paying $20 for like a good couple of hours of entertainment, yeah, I think it's totally worth it. Do I think it's more worth it if you get it like on the Xbox Game Pass or if it's on sale for like $10? Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I feel like there's a chance I would have felt like both of you guys if I actually had paid for it, but because I didn't pay for it, my opinion is very different because I didn't pay for it the first time through.
Yeah, it's interesting how that works. It's like you feel like you need to get a certain amount of entertainment out of something because you paid money for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that you have to go into it with a different mindset. Like it feels kind of like an experience sort of game where it's like not super challenging. And so if you're, like Nick was saying, if you're okay with paying $20 for it for this type of game, I think it's worth it. But definitely for sure worth it if you have the Game Pass. I don't see why you wouldn't like just download it 'cause I don't think it's that big, and then it only takes 2 hours or so to complete it. So
yeah, it's really interesting how we view different pieces of media. Like if it was like, oh, you spent $20 for a book or for a movie or something, I think that was would have been completely worth it. Oh, I will say this: I did see the movie Mortal Engines yesterday. And I probably enjoyed this game more than I enjoyed that movie.
Having not seen that movie, that seems like it makes a lot of sense because that movie did not look good.
It ended up being exactly what I thought it would be. And it was disappointing.
Third-rate Mad Max?
No, not even. Like, okay, there was the scene at the beginning that you see in the trailers of like a city eating another city, and never happens again.
What?
It
like showed the only cool part in the trailers. What you're saying?
Yeah, and it I said this when I saw like the trailers for it. It's like they're going to focus way too much on the characters. It's going to be really dumb because they're focusing too much on the characters and not enough on like the world and this interesting concept that they have. And that's exactly what it was.
That kind of movie is the thing where that needs to be a dumb action flick. It doesn't need to like follow characters.
Yeah, Like Mad Max is a great movie because it was just a dumb action flick with a little bit of like decent character drama in it. And like I think Mad Max is great because like he literally only says like 2 sentences in the entire movie. And that movie needed to be. But yeah, I think I would recommend this game. If you like puzzle games and
It's got fun game mechanics. Like I definitely really enjoyed the time manipulation stuff.
it's unique, it was enjoyable, it was an experience. And God, I feel like I need to buy the soundtrack to this game because it was just really good.
Yeah.
I really
One thing-
liked Your Space's music, and I really like this one.
One thing I would kind of compare this to, not not in gameplay, but in like we're talking about it as an experience. So like I really like Inside, which we haven't talked about on this podcast, which we really should. Inside is a really great game, and that's also only like 5-ish hours for like, so it's a little bit longer, but the experience is stronger, I
you could
guess.
probably do that in like 3 hours.
Well,
if
once
you're
you
like-
know how to play once you've beaten it once, you can beat the game in 2 hours. But like
Mhm.
first time through, it took me roughly 4 or 5 hours. But I feel like that's like those kind of games. They're very much their own. Like they're an experience. You're paying for similar to a movie experience instead of a game experience where you're expecting replay value. You're playing for that one time through kind of thing.
Yeah. I think as I've gotten older, I've vastly more appreciation for that kind of thing instead of like, oh, I'm going to play the new Far Cry game and I'm going to sink hundreds of hours into this game that probably isn't that great.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Be exactly like all the other games I've played of that kind. It's like, nope, I'd rather just play like a 2-hour game which's got some interesting, unique mechanics, and I don't know, it's just a very chill game. Is everybody else good? We ready to call it?
Yeah.
I think so.
See ya.